بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I welcome you all attending this first live for our channel. And I'm happy that I'm introducing a new launch of new activities in this channel. What's new that we have separated the dental channel alone. We have sent our Quranic channel to another channel, and you will have the link for that channel as well. And also we have activated some memberships. So I hope this will be effective and it will produce enough material, learning material, guided and in the interest of those who need it really. So we have new memberships. I hope you could explore those memberships, and I'm happy to have you all here. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Our lecture today is about thriving in dental education. I really thank you, Ala, for arranging this meeting with our students. Some of them are able to attend now, and some of them will attend the recorded of this live, the recorded event. So they will have, I hope, all the benefits from it. So thank you once more for introducing me and this evening, and I'm sitting with you, enjoying this chat with you. And we are going to talk about how to thrive in dental education, thriving in dental education with effective time management strategies. We're not only managing time, we're going to manage a lot of stuff around in this time that we are going to grow and glow in it. So, what I'm doing today is I'm sitting with you chatting, just letting you know about where we are today. We are all in our comfort zone. We are going to go into the fear zone where we're going to change, where this is where we're going to grow. And we're going to then go into the learning zone, and the growth zone will follow, and then we will glow, meaning that we will all learn from these experiences and expand even more. So where am I today? Well, I'm here. This is my first live, so I hope this will be a good experience for all of us. But this is me here today, and I'm learning a lot, so I'm shifting slowly towards here. And this is what I want to do with you today. Because as you said, Ella, you are all struggling as dental students with your time management, and especially in the semesters, within the semester itself, where you have a lot of time, clinical time, you have lectures, you have a lot of stuff you need to attend, you're going out looking for patients, you are also gathering sometimes research, you're going to do some research. So all of you you all want to go through these cycles into here. So thank you for trusting me to do this this podcast for you about this subject. Well, this is me trying to help you somewhere. And not only want you to come and step where I am, I want you even to advance even more. I'm sure that you will be even better than I am, because I really believe that your generation is a very strong generation. It might be the contrary for many who talk about your generation. For me, I really believe that your generation is really strong. The only thing needed is a little bit of guidance. Other than that, you have a lot of tools that we wished we had when we were your age. So I don't want you to step in my step here. I also want you to exceed and do even better. So let's go and talk a little bit about your purpose. We are here on Earth and we are serving a purpose. We are dentists, and this is the subject that we have been trusted with. Your parents have trusted you. They put you in these schools, dental schools. You are going in the dental path. Some of you who are watching are not even dentists or not going to be dentists. But the idea is that all of us have a purpose on this world, and we are fulfilling this purpose. So once we really understand what is this purpose, we will find that once we look up from above at what we're doing at the moment, we will find that these are very minute actions that we hope that will affect the world to the better. And even those minute actions they will make us closer and closer to where we live. Our students are in Irbid at the moment, so we're looking at in Irbid, and you are looking at what are you going to do on your daily basis. So you are a student, you are struggling with life. Some of you are in alone. They have left their families and working with dentistry on their own and their studies. Some of you are fortunate to have their families around. Each one a style of life, or let's say studying style of life, has its benefits and its disadvantages, but let us take the most out of it, no matter what were the circumstances we were in. So you were concerned with how to study. You all were, when you approached me, you were talking about how do we study dentistry. We have a lot of subjects, we have a lot of books to read, we have a lot of material. It's not only books, it's notes books, and then papers and slides and doctor notes and past exams that we need to study. So these are a huge pile of material. So the material is so large. It's not only what's tidy on your desk, it's even what's laying behind you on the bed or on the floor, papers and materials and things you need to study. And nowadays, this what we had earlier. We had books and papers and notebooks, but you also have a lot of videos to watch as well. If you were going to watch videos for your doctors who send you those videos. So the idea is that you have a huge amount of material that you have to study. We're going to go through that even more when we're going to approach the subject of how to become a self-learner. Because if you want to take the best advantage of your dentistry, you have to know that all of what is in the books, all of what is in these papers, all of what you see on videos, these are all scattered material. You need to, as a self-learner, to adopt to first of all capture them, put them in your mind, and then adapt them into your regular practice. So the idea is you are the collector. So we have an abundance of knowledge, we have abundance of textbooks, we have an abundance of papers, we have an abundance of videos we can attend, or websites, or even tutors. Some of you are using some tutors teaching them dentistry. All of this is in abundance. The idea is how to transform all of this into your mind. Well, this is one of my suggestions. This was just only a list of, I took it off the net, but it just had the outline that I wanted to show you. No matter what this is about, but the idea is that I could put my material as follows. For example, I could put oral surgery, oral medicine, radiology, maybe conservative, prosto, and so on. So add subjects and then add the subtitles of that subject. Why are we going to? We have to stack all of the titles in one place and visualize them, because we need to know you're going to study at this time. You're going to study for the comprehensive exam, and comprehensive exam you have to have all of that material in one place. It's not only fifth year material, it's also fourth year material and third year materials. So that's a huge amount of material. So you need to really outline the subjects for each main categories. For example, you will have something like this for the prosthodontics, something like this for the cons, so where every chapter is put and the subtitles are also put. You will put the textbook, here we will put the papers or the doctor notes, and here maybe summaries or something like that, maybe videos you would like to watch. This visual record, if you keep it in front of you on what we call a visionary board, we're going to talk about that in a moment. When you have such lists for each material that you're studying, and we could do this as an activity and do it after this podcast, where we can list each subject and the material that is under it, the titles you have taken over the years. We can do that. But the idea is you need to approach the comprehensive exam with all of these checked, with a check mark that you have done them. So how we're going to approach this, this will be the subject of our next live, where we're going to talk about how to navigate your self-learning, how to plan yourself learning, and that's even more advanced from what we're going to talk about today. Today, my aim was to do a comprehensive overview of what you should do as activities. So once more, all of this material is going into your mind. You have to memorize it before you reach the comprehensive. But it's not only the material. So when you ask me to how do we study, it's not only related about the material and the books and the notebooks and the papers. It's even more deep than that. You're going to look at your time, your management of your brain. We're going to look at many things that are related to you. So you need to study smarter, not longer. Because as you have seen, there is an abundance of material and we need to work in a smart way. So how are we going to approach this? First of all, I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Brain. Mr. Brain is the one who's going to digest all of this information and all of this material. The brain has the task where all of that material should be categorized, memorized, and communicated through exams or vivas. So the material should go in, be stored, then come out in a correct manner. Notice that we're not studying for exams. We are studying for practice. So whatever we're going to learn, we're going to practice it in our clinics. So to do the most or the most powerful, or let's say the most effective treatment we can deliver for our patients, is when we have stuffed our brains with the reasons for each step. When we comprehend what is the essence of each step that we do in dentistry, we will understand why do we have to not only watch and imitate, we need to know the why behind each step. If you train your brain to know the why, just simply knowing why do we do this step, you will begin entering a lot. You will like you have opened a passage, a magic passage into your brain where a lot of information will scoop in one go. You will take it in one go and you will understand it in one go. So always ask, if I'm doing a step in dentistry, if somebody told me put a matrix, why? If somebody told me put a bond, why? If someone told me air dry the primer when you put it, why? If somebody told me keep the light close to your composite, then why? If somebody told me make an overjet and overbite in the denture, I would ask why. So the question of why in dentistry, that's actually the knowledge that you need to know. Because if you know the why, you will actually open not a small door or window for information to come into your brain, you'll actually open a wide gate for information to come in. So under the topic why. But still, so I could be curious, I want to know why, but still, isn't my brain really functioning? This is a good, this is an important question. That the brain is not discrete. It doesn't work alone. It's working inside the body. It's responsible for all of these organs. For the brain to be very effective, we need the brain to work in a body that's healthy. So our immunity, our digestive system, our heart, our cells, even lungs, our kidneys, all should be functioning in a correct manner. Why? Because the brain will be working or say the brain will be working in its maximum capacity when everything is healthy. So we're going to observe this. I'm going to get more into it. But if the brain is very active in the morning, what do we need at night? We need sleep for the brain to gather the information, to precipitate it in the forms of connections and neuroconnections and chemicals that precipitate in the brain neural pathways. We need sleep. So sleep is actually the brain doing another activity. Yes, we're not conscious that when we are asleep, but actually the brain is still working. So sleep is an excellent tool for the brain to regulate its functions in a correct manner. So the sleep is the time where the brain precipitates knowledge. So how am I going to use the sleep for my study, to study in a smarter way? Well, if I have something to memorize, one of the tricks or the tips they tell you, if you're going to memorize something, memorize it immediately before sleep. Don't distract yourself with anything, go immediately and sleep. What will happen? The brain works with electric activities. It's electromagnetic. This electromagnetic field is created by some chemical reactions that produce those electric magnet fields. So if you're going to do some activity in your brain, the area where this information should be stored is very active. But once you go to sleep, this area is the one that had the last electromagnetic activity there, and the precipitation of the information will become even better. Because how does the brain memorize? It actually precipitates some chemicals in the neuro pathways, so that precipitation allows the material to stay in place. So the best, if you're going to memorize in bulk, you have a lot of things to memorize, always do that the last activity before you go to sleep. And never ever put the phone beside you. Even me, when I was preparing for your lecture, I was for a week or even 10 days for now, I'm practicing not putting my mobile beside me. I found that my mind works efficiently, even better, it's clearer. The fog on the mind goes away. Now, if you study just before you sleep, this material will be more likely to be retained for a very long time, a longer time than if you distract yourself or do something else. When is the best time to sleep? No, it's not 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock in the morning. The best time to sleep is actually immediately after 8 o'clock or 8:30. So this is the best time for your brain to work during sleep. If you sleep that early in a dark room, your brain will be the most efficient in doing the activities of memorizing and retaining information. So an early sleep is a must for you if you want to really do it. Okay, if I'm going to sleep very early and I'm going to wake also early, by the way, when is the best time to wake? Around 4 o'clock maybe, or 5 o'clock. It depends on how many hours have you slept, but the idea is no, not more, even before the sun rises. This is the best time. Okay, well, I'm going to be sleepy in the morning. Well, you might be sleepy in the beginning where you're training, but then many studies talk about the power of nap. They say the power nap. It's a nap that goes in the noon, in the noon, and it's only for 10 to 20 minutes. How do you practice this? It's best practiced away from your bed. You should not be on your bed. You might be on a couch, you might be on the floor, you might be anywhere that you feel comfortable, but not in your bed. The best time for this power nap to activate your brain, it puts a big boost of energy into your brain activity, and that's when the power nap only extends from 10 to 20 minutes. What are you going to do? You're going to lay, you're going to put yourself in a comfortable position, you're going to close your eyes, you're going to try not to think about anything, and for 10 minutes keep your eyes shut, even if you have not gone to sleep. In the beginning, you might not reach the sleeping stage. What you want to go into is only the bit where you begin dreaming. This is the bit that you're going to go in. And between 10 and 20 minutes, you could put an alarm. You can maybe ask somebody to wake you up. The idea is just going into the very early dreaming stage. And you come up, you will find that your brain activity is like boosts suddenly. If it takes longer, you're going to wake weaker. So this is what we call power nap. So use your sleep to empower your brain. Also, we need to talk about the brain activity versus muscle activity. Now, if your body, many times you feel that you are mentally aware and active and you want to study and you're happy to study, but your body keeps making you lazy and sleepy. That's because an active mind should be in an active body. Meaning that the activity of the body, the strength of the body, how much the body has metabolism working on, is the body healthy, are the reflexes strong, you will find that your mind will behave in the same way that your your body behaves. So if you are a lazy person, your mind will be a lazy person. If you have fast reflexes, your brain will have these fast reflexes. If you are maybe very slow in your activity, your brain will be slow. If you're fast in your activity, your brain will be fast. So you should do exercise. Actually, they tell you that the span where the brain stays concentrated, it's around 30 minutes. So every 30 minutes, you should go up, do some activity. Some people, every 30 minutes, they go up, drink water, and do some exercise. It could be a push-up, it could be squats, it could be anything that you do them for like 5 minutes, not more than that. But other than that, your body in general should be strong, and that is through exercise. So outdoor exercise is the most beneficial. Walking, it boosts many of your personality aspects, but your brain will enjoy it so much. So it's recommended that you would do exercise 3 times a week at least. Some recommended 30 minutes, some recommended to be 60 minutes every 3 days. So 3 times each week. So that will keep your metabolism and your body strength and tone excellent for your brain. For those that who go to the mosque by walking, these have the benefit because they walk quickly. The best walking activity is fast and with short pace. That means your step is short, but the speed of the walking is high, as if you're running down a hill. So this is the best type of walking to be beneficial for your heart, your body, and your brain. But when we're talking about strengthening the brain, we should go and pass by leaving distractions away from the brain. Because if the brain is distracted, what will happen? What will happen is that these digital devices will disconnect you from the reality. You're actually living a dream inside that mobile. It's not something true. You need to disconnect to reconnect with real life. The problem, let's say this is just mild distraction, but what if we're talking about deep distraction where even some core values are violated by what you see? The problem with what we are seeing, that they reduce our core values, and our personalities might deteriorate by what we see. It becomes a norm to see something wrong, and what is wrong, even if everybody does it. So these core values, we have to keep them for our brain to function correctly. These core values not only make you sociable in a place, make you productive, these core values make your brain in a balanced state where you really don't go into deep downhills in your brain activity. Because what we're seeing in the media might misguide us from what we're doing. Your main work, or let's say your main job now, you are a dental student. So we don't want to be misguided. Maybe you would see some stuff about dentistry where it leads to some specialties that you're not going to need. Maybe it works on your desire to keep looking at what you're looking at. It might be addictive. All of these, you are actually paralyzing your tongue, your ears, your eyes, even your heart, the emotions that you have. Whatever you're doing with the mobile for long times, if it's not with a purpose and an intention that really is planned for, what actually you're doing, you are going downhill. So we want to make sure that when you're studying, never use your headphones except for this is my advice, never use your headphones for anything other than something relating to what you're studying. Maybe you're listening to the video, you're listening to a podcast, you're watching a video, somebody's explaining a clinical situation. That's good. If what you're hearing is in line with what you're studying, which is your job to be a student, that's okay. But if what you're hearing is something distracting, it's you're hearing something to amuse you while you're studying. Studying means focusing, not amusement. So don't mix these things. Don't hear stuff. My recommendation: don't put anything on headphones unless it's related to your studies. This will cause deep distraction because the ear is very close to the brain. Sometimes what you hear is stronger even than what you see or what you feel. I mean, in perception. So hearing is has a direct problem on the brain. So what is the problem with these distractions? Once more, we talked about that the brain is actually working on electromagnetic fields. These electromagnetic fields means that whenever you have an activity related to whatever subject it is, there is electroactivity in this place. So if the electroactivity, sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're sad, you might go through all of these emotions from 1 hour of scrolling through the media, because they are so diverse. They produce something like they are opening a lot of doors in your brain. So okay, let's talk about, let's say you are a dental student, you're interested in sports. You might see 2 or 3 videos about the sport you love. Then you'll see another 2 to 3 videos about accidents in sports. Then you go to cats, looking at cats and how they fall. Then you go to alligators, and then you go, this is all, we're all talking about good or not bad stuff on the internet. So you are firing all of these brain activities at once within an hour. What will happen? You will lose focus. You will even feel sometimes after the let's say the disruption of your magnetic fields in your brain. This disruption follows the chemicals that are depleted in your brain. Sometimes you could go out of a session where you were scrolling like a zombie. You feel that you're detached from the world. You cannot even think. You cannot even answer anybody. You cannot even talk after these scrolling events, where you scroll down shorts or maybe TikTok or whatever. These are non-relevant stuff for even your life. I'm not talking about you as a dental student, even as for a human being. There are stuff that you're not going to see in your lifetime. Why do you need to go in them deeply and engage in them mentally and engage and deplete all your chemicals in those subjects if you're not going to use them? No, the best way is to concentrate. Keep focused. Try to limit the toxicity of the material around you. Let the electromagnetic field work in places where you need it as a student that make you develop. You are a student, you are a brother, okay, activate what you need to do for your siblings. You're a son, activate what you need to do to your parents. You are living in an apartment, for example, activate what you need to manage your finance. Activate what you need to cook, for example, for the next day. That's okay, because you're still in the field where you are working and living. But why do you need to activate what gangs do? Why do you need to activate what will happen if a hurricane comes? Maybe you don't live in a place where there's a hurricane. You don't need the stuff. So if the stuff is not relevant, you will have irregular activity, electromagnetic activity. This electromagnetic activity does not support the interlinking between neurons needed for retaining information. What will happen? The chemicals are depleted. You will have problems even in psychology if those chemicals are depleted. Because once more, what produces the electromagnetic fields? Actually, chemical reactions. Those chemical reactions are vesicles that hold those chemicals. So if you keep firing them, you will reach a point where they are depleted and they need time to replenish. When you're scrolling down, you will go through all of these emotions. Sometimes it's like a roller coaster. You find something very bad, very saddening. Then you find something that you're happy about, and then you find something that is terrifying, and then you find something sudden, and then you find something that does not go with your morals. And it's like a roller coaster, and you will feel all of these. So what will happen with this roller coaster? You are depleting yourself from all of the chemicals that you need to live. You need to live, you need to go out of the scrolling, and you still need to go and drink, you need to go to do some sports, you need to talk to somebody, you have to arrange appointments, you have study to do. So what will happen if you keep long screening time? Your brain will have irregular activity that cannot support the interconnection and the learning ability. So what is the other option is focusing. You need to focus. If you want to learn, you need to focus. You have to always concentrate on your mission, which is actually now a student, but then you will be even a dentist. So learning and focusing does not end by the end of the 5 years of the dental program. No, what you need to learn will even be larger when you become a practitioner. You need to keep focused and remove distractions and really, really protect your core values and your faith from what you're seeing. So you need to disconnect from the digital world to reconnect to your actual world and know how to serve it. So what else are we going to look at? We want even the brain to work in a higher level, even higher than what we are memorizing. What we need to learn should even go into our minds as hands-on, because what will be hands-on, you're training hands-on, you're going to get as hands-out when you are practicing. You're going to manifest what you have learned correctly. So how do we engage more into what we study? Well, one of the things that we need to engage in is writing. When you are writing, you are activating a part of the brain that has a memory. There is a memory for writing different from the memory of listening. It's different from the memory of seeing. It's different from the memory of talking. Okay? The deepest knowledge is here where you write. The deepest memory you can develop when you write it down. That will go so deep and it's very strong that you will even think that it's like writing on stone. And I loved some quote that said the technology that the people had 3,000 years ago was even better than ours. What they wrote on the walls and in stone or they carved in mud or whatever, what they wrote stayed till now, passing the test of time. For 5,000 years, we can know what they were doing by wherever. If you had a laptop maybe 5 years ago, it doesn't work now. So you might lose the information in it. So what you write, as writing engraves memories on walls and so on, writing really engraves the knowledge and boosts your brain activity. And we dentists even need writing even more. Do you know why? Because writing skills are the same skills we use when we're dealing with our handpieces. The writing skills, writing with small letters, writing in delicate handwriting, is actually the same motor activity that we're using in dentistry. You need to have the manual dexterity. You need to have the coordination of your muscles with your brain. You need to go in the same direction. You don't want your hand wobbling inside the patient's mouth. You need to have fine movements, fine skills, working at difficult angles. Those you will get those skills from writing. So if I would encourage you, if you're going to write something, I would encourage you to write at least for an hour a day. It's because, do you know when you're going to work in the clinic how many hours you're going to work? Sometimes you will work 8 hours straight with your fingers and your wrists. So if you have not trained them, you will fall weak, your hand will fall weak and you will not be able to complete the session in the day that you are working. So make sure that you write down. Do you write everything? No. I don't recommend that you copy exactly what you have in the book. Try to make them in the forms of mind maps. Try to put them as a puzzle, make them as a question, make a drawing, even scribbling. Do you know, even scribbling, when you're just scribbling by your hand, while you're listening to a lecture, even if this was not even a meaningful drawing or a meaningful writing, just scribbling, the amount of information that goes in is even higher. So make sure, try mind mapping, where you store a lot of information in an abstract form. Try to draw, try to put the beginnings of letters and memorize them. Whatever the activity is, keep your hand going. And I encourage this even more because we have a lot of MCQs at the moment. We test you by online exams, and these are MCQs. Those produce the worst students in terms of communication. Those students cannot even explain how to do the procedure in right language. So when you write, make sure that you write after reading a complete text, not pinpoints related or notes, short notes from the lecture. Read long sentences from textbooks and then summarize them by writing. This is the way you get the best out of the writing. Also, when you engage, also you want your mind to work even better, you use daydreaming. Daydreaming is when you visualize a situation in front of you by imagination, and then you try to solve it in your imagination. Okay, how am I going to use that? Well, it's not something new. This is used by all those that work with sports. They actually picture themselves in the pitch or in the field or in the match, and they would daydream about problems. Suppose, what will happen if my wrist goes off? What will happen if I fall down and my knee is going to be injured? What do I do if I hit something hard? They keep daydreaming, and the coaches give them solutions. These are still virtual solutions, by the way. These are information. If something, let's say somebody hits you on your back, you do so and so. It's still an information, a piece of information. But when they daydream, they actually begin rehearsing what will they do if that thing happens. They begin rehearsing it. You might have gone through this experience when you were taking the medical emergencies. If you remember the ABCs, airway, breathing, and then circulation. If you remember that, you took that. That's when somebody faints in front of you. You check the airway. You make sure that the air is not obstructed. You check the breathing. You put your ear or your fist or your hand close to their nose to look if they are breathing or not, and then you begin looking at their circulation. Is their heart beating or not, in this sequence? But if you have not daydreamed about it, Yani, you try to imagine that somebody had really had fallen in front of you, and you are doing these actual procedure to them. You are rehearsing them in your mind. You will have the same experience as somebody that had really actually been through that. We know that those that have been through a situation are better coped with dealing with it. But suppose I am a student, I never seen somebody fainting in front of me. But when I daydream about it, I begin rehearsing. What am I going to do? I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to call somebody. Then I'm going to, whatever the scenario is. And by the way, before the ABCs, there is a calling. You have to call emergency and then begin the ABCs. If you are alone, or you summon somebody to call the emergencies. But the idea is, if you have not visualized yourself in that situation, this is a piece of information you might remember or you might not. But if you daydream about it and you rehearse it, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this, and you begin talking, even moving your hands. Let them say whatever they say. Your dentistry made you talk to yourself. It's okay. Daydreaming. What will happen if you, for example, you were doing some procedure and with the needle you punch yourself? What are you going to do? Rehearse it in your mind. I'm going to do so and so, and begin talking and begin rehearsing. This is daydreaming. So use it. This will give you experience when you don't have experience. But don't go for maladaptive daydreaming. That doesn't serve any purpose. When you're lost with hours and hours rehearsing scenarios where you're talking to a friend, or you're fighting somebody for something they did, or that you are arguing with somebody about something you heard on the net or whatever. This is maladaptive daydreaming. It will waste your time, waste your energy, and waste your brain. So make sure that you use daydreaming effectively. Daydream, what will happen if I have a patient, for example? what will happen if I face that the tooth is still hurting? What am I going to do if the patient throws up? Begin rehearsing those in your mind, because you will need them at a moment, and always have a reference for them. You can also rehearse what you're going to say in exams. So not only do you need to visualize the book and read the sentences in while you're silent. No, imagine yourself in an exam situation, and you're explaining to the doctors your answer, and using correct language, and read out the words. We are faced with the problem where the students cannot even complete a word. They want to say comprehensive, they say comprehend, and they begin mumbling after that. They don't know even 3 or 4 letters away how the word is pronounced. They're going to say anesthesia, they're going to say some of those words. We're going to talk about, for example, TMD. What is TMD? Temporomandibular, and they begin mumbling. They never practice saying it. So do practice oral communication. Imagine yourself, you're in front of an exam committee, and begin talking using the correct language, using the correct terminology. This is where I really recommend that you go and look up these words. If English language was not your native language, go and look up these words in any of the dictionary or online resources where they can pronounce it with a British accent and an English American accent. So practice the words that you see, practice them, and practice the writing of them. So all of this is within the daydreaming. What else can I use my daydreaming for? Complex cases. What am I going to do if I have a surgery? How am I going to do what if the patient stops breathing while all of these scenarios? You practice them. Also practice being a patient. You as a dentist, you are providing for your patient treatment. Is that patient going to tolerate the sound of the handpiece? Is he going to tolerate the section pushing down on his gum and bleeding his gum? Is the patient going to tolerate the light in his eyes? Even imagine yourself as a patient. This will help you a lot to be passionate about your patients and delicate with them, not treating the patient as if he's a mechanical instrument or a phantom head. You will be treating your patient as a human, because you will visualize yourself as a patient, and how the doctor is doing with your tissue, how they are applying the forces. Are they explaining before doing, or are they treating you like a phantom head? So even visualize yourself as a patient. All of this daydreaming will help you. Why? Because you are building, and you are doing this. You are building your intention. You are rehearsing. It's like a blueprint. If such and such happens to me, this is my action. Your brain begins to accept it as if it was an actual previous experience. These intentions you become organized, you become energized, you know how to deal with the stuff. So intentions are very, very strong. But please never look at your intentions and your daydreaming on how much you're going to take from your patient. Don't be money driven in your dental treatments. This is the last intention we need to focus on. It should be there. I'm not denying that it should be there. You're running a clinic, it's a business. You need to buy material, you need to finance the people who work with you, you need to finance yourself, your family. I'm not talking about that this is not important. I'm talking it's not on the top of the list. This is what I'm saying. So make sure that your intentions are so strong, because they even are regarded as your intentions are regarded as actions, even if they have not been expressed as actions yet. So look at this later on and try to even learn more on how to make your brain very active. But make sure that your brain activity also faces some needs, and those needs, when you give for others, you will take them. Really, a lot of stuff that we do in dentistry, it's not related to how good we are in doing the filling or the implant, or how good is the fit of the bridge. No, it's actually how we treat people as humans. If we're giving them the smile, helping them, helping our colleagues, trying to support them if they feel weak. We are human beings. We are sometimes strong, sometimes weak. Sometimes we only need a smile. Somebody telling you, "How are you today?" Just look around for those people that don't talk a lot in your colleagues. These actions will actually come bounce back to you. Really, if you're giving happiness to people, it comes back to you. You will feel the happiness they felt. If you're giving a smile for somebody that's sad, you will feel that you are happy. It all comes back. So make sure your intentions serve others in it. So that's about the studying. Okay, what do we drink? Well, drink a lot of water, lots of water, lots of water. Coffee, okay, it's good, but make sure you don't get addicted to it. I mean, you should be in a state where if you drink coffee or if you don't, you can study, but coffee makes you a bit smarter and more alert. This is the relation with coffee. If we don't want you to reach the situation where if I don't have my coffee, I even cannot open my eyes. This is no. Then we have gone to the extreme with the relation with coffee and towards addiction. There's no addiction to water. Drink as much as you like of water during studying. Leave the caffeine and in the coffee for the mornings. Not try to stop around 4 o'clock to allow you to sleep, or even earlier. Some people after 2 o'clock they don't take any coffee. Keep it for the morning, and use snacks. Why do we need snacks? Why? Because a snack is something just like looking at snack. It affects your productivity, definitely. It affects your brain activity, definitely. But what does it do else? It's a small portion. It's a small portion of food that does not leave you lazy and drowsed after eating it. So you don't want to reach the drowsy stage where your tummy is full and you cannot go back to work and you're very sleepy or very lazy because of what you've eaten. Snacks provide you with short, like every 2 hours, maybe like eat 2 or 3 bites of something. These could be vegetables, this could be fruits, the nuts. These are very healthy stuff options. It might be a small sandwich, but once more, it's only bites. Don't over eat unless it's the main meal in the day, and the main meal in the day is better to be midday. And the more hot it is, the more beneficial for your body and brain activity. So never miss a hot meal in the day. Okay, what light do I use? Well, always use natural light wherever you can. Study beginning in the morning. If you study very early, it will not be a natural light, but make sure that your room is well lit. If you, for example, you begin at 5 a.m., so don't leave the room dark. But once the sun sets, begin dimming down or reducing the intensity of the light in your room. So let your body respond to the light as if the sun is setting actually inside the home, not outside. So actually begin reducing the strength of the light gradually from the time of sunset till your time of sleep. And once more, we recommend that you sleep very early. Okay, so we talked a lot about your personal environment, but what about your university environment? Well, you will meet a lot of people. Be aware of those toxic people, those that drain your energy. They compliment you for things you have not done. They're either pessimists, nothing will work, nothing will be good. The victims that always complain, the manipulators, the criticizers, those that have that toxic traits. Take them out of your cycle, or let's say of your intimate relationship. Make your relationship with them just like hello, hi, and that's it. You keep the least amount of communication with those toxic people, because you're in a university, and the university, we're all humans. That means that everyone has a good and evil in us. So what is my recommendation? Should you have very close friends, or do you have multiple friends, or what? Okay, first of all, there's nobody that is good in total. We are all a combination of good and evil. But the good in everybody is different. For example, you will find somebody that's very energetic. You find somebody that's very has a very good humor, sense of humor. Somebody they are sociable, excellent in an excellent way. They can socialize with people. You can find people that are dedicated. You can find people that are excellent in handwork, and so on. So there's good in everybody. So once more, increase the number of people you know, but concentrate on the good in each one of them. Observe yourself. Look how do they do it. Try to imitate them and try to ask for more, and then see and where are you working? You're working in the side that's good. So if I have like 10 people around me and I'm working with them, I will actually install all of these qualities in me. So I would look for somebody that had, for example, if I want to be balanced, I should have all of these. And especially I want to be a leader in my clinic. I want to lead people towards what's correct. And so I could get from some person, I could get his physical activity. I will learn from him how does he manage with all of the stresses that we have as dental students, for example. How do they keep up their good physical status? Some people have an excellent integrity. You feel that they are wise men even when they are even 18. Some people have the initiative. They are so active and they do a lot of initiatives. Some of them have self-confidence and they respect themselves and they don't allow others to manipulate them. Some people have excellent communication skills. They have language, even if they speak your same language, but they are using the sweetest words in your language. You need that skill as a dentist because you're dealing with people directly in your clinics. So maybe I'll have a friend where I learned this from him. Somebody that has a lot of knowledge, I will learn from them. How do they study? How do they manage their time in studying? Some people have a very clear vision of their future. They will even describe the smallest detail in their future. This is a very good skill to have, and those people you will learn from them how to clarify your vision for your future. Some people have a lot of motivation skills. They motivate everybody around them. Some people have good social skills, some decisiveness. When they decide on something, they do it. All of these traits, we need them. So try to pick up the good in everybody you know, and also try to know many people that have something good in them. So if you're taking all of them, you're taking only the good side of them, you will become stronger, and all of this will be a support ring for you. You don't want toxic people around. Then what? Back to our purpose on life. All of this, you don't need those skills only in your studying period or time. You are here for a short time, 5 years in dental school, and you're going. But actually what you might have learned today will even benefit you on the long term, for a very long time. But by the way, have you noticed that we have not gone to somebody even closer than our friends and our room? Okay, there is something else that we need to communicate with, and those are our parents. Never forget your parents in your journey. You're not isolated from them. You have not begun your path. They are still in the background. I know they are not over you as they have used to, because at those times when you were young, they were supporting you and providing safety for you. They were making sure that you were growing in a safe environment. They were always around you. But slowly and slowly you grow taller than them, and you think you might be wiser than them. No, keep a good relation with your parents. The relation is a mine, a diamond mine. Don't ever leave their good relation with them. Those who are unfortunate, their parents have passed away, you can still communicate through being a good example for their children in this world, making sure that they have left the best of them in this world. So always come back to your parents. Some of you might be fortunate and have families. Maybe you're married and you have children, even if you're a dental student. Also, those, keep good communication with them. Give your best to them before you give it to the world. By the way, we're not talking that you give them for alone. We're not selfish, but we're telling you, give them the best before you give it outside. خيركم خيركم لأهله. You have to be the best for your families, because this is actually you. What we see in a dental school, in a very busy school, everybody's busy, everybody's working. We don't know the true person you are unless we see you at home. So be the best of the best in your home. So never overshine or even disrespect your parents. They are always a good support, even if you have become taller than them. Then finally remember that this is not only the life we're going to live. There is another life, and you will be judged for what you have done. And this is the true intention, where we will all be judged as being good people. We have passed the time on earth, and we have produced our best at that time. Okay, so that was me talking. Now it's you working, because whatever is said, if it doesn't go towards implementation, it might be forgotten. So what do you need? What do you need more? Self-learning on the topics you have done. Maybe something attracted you in this lecture. Maybe one of the topics, for example, power nap. Oh, okay, that was something interesting. I might need to explore it. Each topic of this lecture is present on the net. There is a lot of small or shorts or long podcasts describing how to practice these in the best way. So self-learn. Go find a topic that was interesting for you and go and learn more about it and begin implementing it in your life. Find a mentor. Find somebody to watch over you. That it might be another student from an earlier year, for example, maybe a dentist who had graduated, where he keeps asking about you and how have you done and what do you do. Keeping a mentor who is always observing you and in the same time correcting you, and you are accepting from them. This is a blessing. Never leave yourself without a mentor at any stage in your life, by the way. If you are now a student, you need somebody who graduated. If you're graduated, you want somebody who's in postgraduate or has a practice. If you're in your practice, you want somebody who had been in the practice for 5 or 10 years. If you're in 5 and 10 years, so you might need somebody who works in hospitals and centers and so on. Always find somebody who's more knowledgeable than you and keep asking them and keep humble in front of them, so you'd learn more and you will even prosper more. Finally, I'm happy to help. If you need any help from me, I could provide it. Just there is a questionnaire in the description box for this video. I'm happy to help if I can, and this is our first in our mission of live videos, and I hope this subject was interesting and it solved some of the problems that you needed to be addressed. And if you want more subjects, I'm happy to produce let's say a list of lectures like this. Our next live will be self-learning, how to become a self-learner for lifetime, not for 5 years, for lifetime. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and we're happy to hear from you more. And thank you for this beautiful evening with you. And once more, grow to glow. Thank you very much.